stay a few weeks after the forum.
Pak Loic akan extend tinggal di Bali.
Good afternoon, everybody. I am Loic Fauchon, the president of the World Water Council. As you know, World Water Council is co-organizing this 10th World Water Forum with the government of Indonesia. And first of all, I'd like to say how this preparation. You have to know this forum has needed 4 years of preparation, 4 years, hand in hand with all Indonesian teams. And it has been, I have said to President Widodo, it has been the best, the most professional preparation that we have never seen in the history of the Council. And the result could be seen today, have been seen first on Saturday afternoon. I would like to say on behalf of my colleagues that we have been invited to this purification ceremony, which was for us very impressive. It was very strong moment. And I could say that at the end of this purification ceremony, I could have said, I am a Balinese. After on Sunday, we had this wonderful hospitality of President Widodo during the evening with a so brilliant show, which has shown to us the energy of people of Indonesia and mainly the young generation dancing on the stage. Also, congratulations for that. It was a wonderful event show. And so after we have entered really on Monday morning in the forum itself with the opening ceremony with the president, and perhaps did you heard that I have said quite at the end of my opening speech, now time of message, of water message has to continue, obviously, but it's not sufficient. We have to convince, we have to pursue about the fact that water is politics. And more water will be hydro-diplomatic. And during this week, you have to say that the president of the World Water Council has expressed that Indonesia and Bali are the world capital of water during this week. And you could be proud of that because you have worked a lot, and Indonesia is a great nation of water. And so I've said that be messenger is necessary. It was more than a joke, a story between President Widodo and myself, because during the G20, I was here, President invites me, and the day before arrival of the G20, I was discussing with the president, your president, and he says, what could I do for water? I say, please, President, be the water messenger, again and again. And I know he has said a few words to all world leaders concerning water. And so now I am saying to the water community, it's not sufficient. We have to persuade, we have to convince that this water is politics and needs more political will. And that's the reason I have said at the end of the speech, now you have all together, and also you journalists, media, you have to be world water warriors. So now I could answer questions if you want. Thank you so much.
water warriors, the relatively new terminology from Mr. President Loic Fauchon.
Obviously, it's a peaceful
Peaceful.
battle.
Yeah, in terms of peaceful.
Be warrior for to write a peaceful history of water in the future.
Thank you, Excellency. It's time for you, my fellow journalists, to ask the question. Yes, 1, 2, 3. Okay.
No, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Okay. First one, you. Yes.
Hello, good afternoon. Selamat sore Pak Usman Kansong. Terima kasih banyak untuk kesempatannya. I'm Siska Becker from TVRI World. Bonjour, Monsieur Fauchon. Thank you so much for your appreciation of World Water Forum and for Bali as well. We truly appreciate your enthusiasm for the Island of the Gods. Thank you. Now my question is, as the world reach the population of 8 billion people in 2024, water scarcity and equal access to clean water and sanitation have been a dire issue for a lot of countries in the world. Now, what will be the proposed approach by the World Water Council to tackle this global challenge? Is there a way to reach a global consensus in reaching an integrated and sustainable water management solution? Thank you.
How long do you give me to answer the question?
Up to you. You have all the time in the world
No,
right now.
very shortly. You know, everything is connected to water security. And in Indonesia also. What does it mean? Water security on one hand, to be able to propose more water and more sanitation, which needs infrastructure and needs also more infrastructures and need also to be able to maintain the infrastructure. It's very important. So propose in the future in each country, in each region, in each cities, more quantity of water, on one hand. On the other hand, be able to consume better and less. Obviously, for those who have water. For others, we need to fight to bring them access to water. What does it mean? It means that we are entering in an era of sobriety. Sobriety will be a very important word during the next years and decades. Because everywhere, quite everywhere, you could avoid to waste water. Here also in Bali, but here you have quite sufficient quantity of water. But in some countries which are more arid, also you need to have economy of water for agriculture, for industry, and for domestic use. So these are the balance which will help us to move to this sobriety. But in the same time, which is difficult, there is also another balance between water for humankind and water for nature. Keep water for nature. Keep water for biodiversity. Keep water for ecosystem. That's the deal. And that's on which we will work not only during this week, because the battle will begin after, during the last months and years, and I will say a few words about this cooperation between Indonesia and the World Water Council in the future.
Thank you. Yes, the second question.
Good evening. I am Miranti from Liputan 6. My first question would be, after the release of the ministerial declaration, what role does the World Water Council play in it to be able to accelerate the goals of water for shared prosperity? And then the second question is, after all the meetings, does World Water Council and all the leaders have the immediate concrete action to tackle the water crisis in conflict area, especially for the refugees in Gaza? Thank you.
There's two questions in your question, okay? First question, I would like the honorary president of the World Water Council has joined us, my friend Benedito Braga. He will answer the first question concerning the ministerial declaration. If you could give him a micro to say a few words concerning, or perhaps he could join us here, I don't know. Could you, may we have a chair?
I can speak from here, yes. Yes, some of the important points, one of the important
micro closer, please. Yeah,
okay. It's that my voice is too strong, so I have to put it a little. The issue of water security that President Fauchon already mentioned for sure for you, that given the current conditions of variability in climate, all of you are seeing these major flooding here in Indonesia and in Brazil and elsewhere, and then droughts. So the major problem of climate is not the climate itself, it's the water, and it's also the people, the population that it's growing, and the population is moving toward the cities, the large cities where the problems are being magnified. So in the declaration, the necessity of governments to pay attention to water and how improve the adaptation to these new situations with infrastructure, with efficient water use, right? Also, in the declaration, it was stressed the need for transboundary cooperation, that is, river basins that are shared by 2 or more countries, that the cooperation among them in order to use the water, to share the water among the population. So I think that these were 2 important points, just to be brief. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you. Second question concerning refugees in Gaza area. This is a very sensitive issue. World Water Council is not the United Nations. We are just operating concerning water. I have said not yesterday, but 6 months ago, in November, I was in Istanbul for an international conference. I had the same question. I have said, remind Geneva Convention and other texts which are very clear. Nobody could be deprived of water during a war, civil war, or international war. Nobody. This Geneva Convention is not respected in a lot of conflicts. You're questioning about Gaza, but the same question could be asked concerning Ukraine. Right to water is not respected in Ukraine between the 2 belligerents. Concerning Gaza, it's clear. States, United Nations, other organizations have to take initiatives, clear initiatives, not only through speeches, but in action, to obtain that this sort of civil war. Because it's a civil war. Why is it a civil war? It's a civil war because these two people are living together for decades and decades. Do you know there is at the moment 30% of the population in Israel which is Arabic? 30%. And it will be more and more in the future. And so peace is not only necessary, peace will arrive. And I could say to you, it's the first time I say to journalists, when peace will arrive, the World Water Council will take an initiative concerning water, because our field is water. We are discussing for years and years in the same time with Palestinian ministers and Israeli ministers. And I know very well this region. I've been the first in 1997 to be in Gaza area to study the water supply of Gaza. It was in the long time ago with President Arafat. And I have continued to organize the discussion between this Israeli and Palestinian ministers. They are talking together. But during this fight, the battle continues. We cannot operate, but we will do it because I am very confident that peace will arrive, and majority of Israeli people, majority of Palestinian people, they want peace, they want to cooperate, they want to live together in peace.
Thank you, Excellency. Yeah, Kompas.
Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Judith. I'm from Kompas Daily newspaper. I would like to deliver three questions, actually three questions. So the first question is, which point on the ministerial declaration that is the most breakthrough for water political actions? And the second question, how do World Water Council strengthen the Global Water Fund or other funding scheme for solving water issues challenge? Because you have the
second question.
Oh, sorry, the second question: how do the World Water Council strengthen the Global Water Fund or other funding scheme for solving water issues challenge? And the third question, I just want to highlight it, the previous question. So you have mentioned that for solving the water crisis issues in conflicted area, not only speech, but also concrete actions, concrete solutions. So is there any opportunity in this forum, in this World Water Forum, any concrete solution that the World Water Council will deliver or will discuss for people in Gaza and other conflicted area to make sure they can access the clean and fresh water right now? Thank you.
Mr. Braga, could you answer for the first question concerning the minister? Mr. Braga was the co-chair of the ministerial conference. That's the reason I give him the floor.
Yes, I think that in this declaration there is a clear commitment that those that sign the declaration, let's say that way, those that participated in the declaration, that their governments are committed to implement in their national policies, plans and actions those points that I've mentioned here regarding the right to water, regarding water security, regarding also the transboundary problems that are very important. So it is put there very clearly that those more general concepts will be put into their national policies, plans, and actions. This is the novelty. Thank you.
Second question concerning fund, concerning financing water globally. I had 2 calls during the opening of this. The first is, again, to ask for cancellation of the water debt in the poorest countries. We need to give them more financial capacities to finance infrastructures. The second one is coming from the climate COP. As you know, in Paris, after in Marrakesh, and later Varsovie, and later in the Emirates, different funds have been created called climate funds, and on behalf of the Council of the Water Community, I'm saying, guys, you are always talking about climate. And now you keep the money. So, water is climate is water. So give the money, please. Part of the money. That's the reason we say part of the climate funds needs to be devoted to water, which is not the case at the moment. Water does not receive any fund for the climate. And we will discuss later, and we have taken an initiative, which is the third concerning finance. We have decided to create a water coalition for money for water coalition, excuse me. Why? Because money needs water, but water needs money. What does it mean? It means that the bankers, when you meet, this morning I was with the president of IDB, Asia Pacific Development Bank, but others are here. They say, we have money, but the poorest countries doesn't know how to catch the money from the bank. And the poorest countries say, we have projects, but they don't want to give us the money. And so our job, the work of the Council is to let them really discuss together and obtain more money for water during the next years. Concerning the third questions about concrete solutions, what are we waiting during this forum and at the end of the forum next Friday? To, on one hand, commitments, global commitments. One example is the one, join our, I say to the president, to the political leaders, join our coalition money for water. This is a commitment. Join us to implement the right to water in your country. This is a commitment, okay? Solutions, it's different on the other hand. Solutions could be small, concrete. Look, yesterday, I think it was at the parliamentary opening, a young Indonesian lady, I could say a young and Indonesian girl, I think it was 20 years old. She came showing a very simple project for access to water in poor countries. And she, with a project, she has touched around 20,000 families in Indonesia. This is a solution. Just another example concerning Indonesia. After the tsunami in Sumatra, I have visited, quite now 5 years ago, Banda Aceh. In Banda Aceh, after the tsunami, they have organize different solutions, and one of them is to prevent and to help populations to avoid to be wounded or killed by the tsunami with this different kind of towers they have organized. This solution concerning water-related disasters could be translated to other countries which does not think this solution is very nice. Other one is I find concerning harvesting water in Rajasthan, in India. The family are able, we have visited it with Mr. Braga a few years ago, with a very simple solution, they are able to keep safe their water for 1 year, around 50 cubic meters every year. The same solution could be implemented in Africa. So the role of the Council is to help people to join, to share, to discuss, and to be able to receive a solution which is sometimes 5,000 kilometers from their home. This is the role of the Council concerning solutions. And we hope that during this week, at the end of the week, we could embed it in our bags hundreds and hundreds of solutions. And I'm sure that Indonesia will provide a lot of these solutions.
Thank you, Excellency. Yeah, okay. Please, you can ask the question.
Thank you. I'm Nabil. I come from Algeria, a country where in its southern western area there is a region called Saura, which is now suffering from drought. And the Algerian hydraulics...
Okay, can you speak louder?
Okay, so I'm Nabil. I come from Algeria, where in the western southern part of the country there is a region called Saura, which is now suffering from drought. And the Algerian Minister of Hydraulics yesterday said that the acts of a neighbor country, which is Morocco, are harming the region, the ecosystem of the region. And the story is that Morocco is building a dam and now stopping the flow of water into the region. So what is the World Water Forum doing about that, please?
You know where is the headquarters of the World Water Council? Do you know? Our headquarters is in Marseille, in France, south of France. 40% of the population is coming from Algeria. And others coming from Morocco and Tunisia. We are cooperating with Algeria since the independence. And we know the situation concerning water, and the same situation in Morocco and in Tunisia at the moment. I would like to say just two comments. The first is that I would be happy the day when the border between Algeria and Morocco will open again. For 40 years now, this border is closed. And that's a pity, perhaps more than a pity, a shame, because people want to move, wants to cooperate, wants to help together. But it's just a will, perhaps a dream, but I hope it could happen. Second comment, Algeria perhaps had understood, felt a little bit late that water will be a problem. In Morocco, I say this very prudently because you are a journalist. In Morocco and in Tunisia, perhaps they were early thinking that water will be a problem. And in Algeria, I know very well the situation in your country because with my company, I was a supplier during my life. We were managing the city of Constantine in your country. And you have a lack of maintaining of the dams, which is now beginning to be repaired. And so you need different transfer between the main cities of Algeria. But look, Algeria is a very good example of what I was saying. Your minister and your administration is saying climate, climate, climate. Okay, but in Algeria, demography, demography, demography. You have a huge demographic growth, and you need additive volumes of water for this additive population. And so I just said that to you to say we have we need to have a more intelligent balance between climate. Okay, climate is changing, and demography. Demography is changing also. And the solutions are not exactly the same to fight climate evolution and to fight the urban growth. So I hope that, and we are ready to have a better cooperation with Algeria in the future, and we are ready to discuss with the political leaders in the field of water.
Thank you. Other question maybe? RRI, Mbak Jadi bertanya? Okay. One more question.
Good afternoon, Mr. Loic Fauchon. I'm Eno from National Radio of Indonesia. And just one quick question. Is there any bilateral meetings you and your counterparts here during the forum? And I'm wondering what is the deals or agreement that have been taken through the meetings? Thank you.
Can you repeat your question, please?
The bilateral
Bilateral?
meetings. Yeah.
Okay.
The sound is not very good coming from the audience. I would just say that at the beginning of our meeting, we pay very much importance to the follow-up of this forum. We are not here in this wonderful island of Bali in receiving your wonderful hospitality. Really, I would like to say again that Indonesia in Bali you're so kind. It's really pleasant to work with Indonesian people because you are professional, but at the same time there's your hospitality, your kindness, and all my team loves to work with you. And so, for different reasons, I have said to President Widodo and to Mr. Luhut, Mr. Basuki, that we would like to continue to work together after the forum. Forum is not the end of the road. For me, it's more the beginning of the road. In our legal relation, we have decided a few years ago, 3 years ago, that we will continue to work after the forum, build together the follow-up of the forum. And so immediately after the forum, perhaps next Saturday before leaving, we will discuss how we will transform some solutions in action, which is very important. And more than that, your country, Indonesia, has an important responsibility from now to the next forum. Next forum will be in 3 years in Saudi Arabia. I know the good relations between the two governments and also with the council. So probably I am sure that we will have a very successful cooperation during the next 3 years. Thank you.
Thank you. No more question, I think. So we end this press conference. Thank you, Excellency, Mr. President Loic Fauchon.
And Mr. Braga and
yes.
all the council team. Thank
you.
you. Thank you very much for hosting us.
And, yes.
And journalists, ladies and gentlemen, you have a very important responsibility. You have also to fight for access to water, and please be journalist water warriors. Thank you.
Thank you.